Well, greetings. I hope all is well with the church family. For our midweek devotion, I want us to talk about proper perspective. Do you remember an old TV show that used to come on that was titled Early Edition? It was about this guy that lived in Chicago, and every morning a strange cat would come and drop off a newspaper on his front porch that had tomorrow's news. And so the guy had a day to try to save all the tragedies that he knew were going to take place. For instance, if he read about a fire taking lives tomorrow, he had a day to try to get to this house and try to get people out of there to save their lives. And though reluctant to be a hero, he realized that he was given this unique responsibility. And so he risked being thought a fool by others to help them avoid tragedy. And because he could see the end of events in which others were so thoughtlessly absorbed, he treated his events differently as he tried to get others to see things, from his perspective. Groundhog Day, Back to the Future, these were movies that basically had this kind of the same idea. You know what lies ahead, and so you try to bring about change before tragedy sets in. Of course, that's Hollywood, make-believe stuff. But not only, huh? You see, there is one who knows the end of all things from the beginning. 800 years before Christ was born, a prophet wrote these words about Israel's God. Remember the former things, those of long ago. I am God, there is no other. I am God, and there is none like me. I make known the end from the beginning, from ancient times, what is still to come. I say my purpose will stand, and I will do all that I please. Now, God doesn't write all the scripts. He doesn't rig all the outcomes. Yet because of his perspective, knowing what tomorrow holds, he tells us enough about the future to hopefully shape our lives. So doesn't it make sense for us that a proper perspective of life should make a difference on how we view what's happening to us today? Knowing what God has revealed in the end, a crown and victory and a mansion just over the hill, huh? Doesn't that help us with our present setbacks and our sufferings and our struggles and our uncertainties? Several years ago, a guy by the name of Gary Thomas wrote this in Christianity Today. Thinking about eternity helps us retrieve perspective. I'm reminded of this every year when I figure my taxes. During the year, I rejoice at the paychecks, the extra income, and sometimes I flinch when I write out the tithe and the offering. I do my best to be a joyful giver, but I confess it's not always easy, especially when there are other perceived needs and wants. At the end of the year, however, all that changes. As I'm figuring my tax liability, I wince at every source of income, and I rejoice with every tithe and offering check. More income means more tax, but more offering and tithe means less tax. Everything's turned upside down, or perhaps more appropriately, right side up. I suspect Judgment Day will be like that. Proper perspective. In your life, never lose sight of the promise that has been made to us concerning our future. See, even if we're like this guy in the early edition and we're thought to be fools by others by our actions, we need to lean on texts such as 1 John 3, which says, Dear friends, now we are children of God, and what we will be has not yet been made known, but we know when he appears we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. Everyone who has this hope in him purifies himself just as he is pure. The point is, let's keep things in perspective, and let's not lose sight of the future. A mansion is waiting. God has promised us, if we put our faith in Jesus Christ, we place ourselves into him in baptism, be added to his body, his church, that we've got a bright future. Let's look towards tomorrow. God bless you today.